The house had never been this quiet before. It was just past midnight when the electricity went out. Suddenly, everything was gone. No lights, no hum from the refrigerator, no worry of the fan. Just a profound, heavy silence and an even heavier darkness. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at my phone screen, its glow a tiny island of light in a sea of black. That's when I heard it, a soft knock. It was so faint at first, I thought I might have imagined it, but then it came again, a soft, deliberate tap. What was strange was where it came from. Not the door, not the window. It was coming from the wall, right beside my bed. 3 slow, rhythmic knocks. Knock, knock. My blood ran cold. I held my breath, straining my ears, hoping it was just the old house settling. But the silence that followed was more unnerving than the sound itself. "Hello," I whispered into the darkness, my voice barely audible. No answer, just more silence. Then the knocking started again, but this time it had moved. From the wall to the ceiling directly above my head. The same slow, deliberate pattern. Knock, knock, a chill that had nothing to do with the temperature crawled up my spine. I remembered something my grandmother used to say, a story she'd tell us kids to scare us into behaving. If you hear knocks in the middle of the night, she'd say, her voice low and serious, never, ever answer. You don't know what you might be letting in. My hand trembled as I fumbled with my phone, turning on the flashlight. The beam cut a sharp, narrow path through the oppressive darkness. I had to know what was going on. Slowly, I swung my legs off the bed, my bare feet touching the cold wooden floor. I took a deep breath and stepped out into the hallway. The air here felt different. Colder, too cold for a summer night. A draft seemed to snake around my ankles, even though all the windows were closed. At the far end of the hall, the bathroom door was slightly ajar, a dark sliver against the wall. I was sure I had closed it before bed. It was part of my routine, a habit I never broke. My heart started to beat a little faster. As I walked closer, the beam of my flashlight shaking slightly. The mirror inside the bathroom caught the light. For a split second, I saw something. A shape. There was someone in the mirror. Someone standing right behind me. I spun around, a gasp catching in my throat. Nothing. The hallway was empty. There was no one there. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like a drum against my ribs, the sound echoing in my ears. I told myself I was just seeing things, my mind playing tricks on me in the dark. I turned back to the mirror, slowly, hesitantly, and my blood froze. The reflection was still there, but it wasn't my reflection. It was standing just behind where I should have been, a tall, shadowy figure. It wasn't moving with me. It was just there, staring out from the mirror, and it was smiling. A wide, unnatural grin that stretched too far across its face. I didn't scream. I didn't even breathe. I just ran. I scrambled back to my room, my feet slipping on the floorboards. I slammed the door shut, the sound echoing through the silent house, and fumbled with the lock, my fingers clumsy and numb. I pressed my back against the door, as if my own weight could keep whatever was out there from getting in. My phone vibrated in my hand, the sudden buzz making me jump. I looked down at the screen. An unknown number. A new message. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the phone steady. The message read, "Why are you running?" A wave of pure terror washed over me. How could anyone know? I typed a reply, my thumbs barely hitting the right letters. "Who are you?" The three little dots appeared instantly, showing they were typing back. A second later, the reply came, "You let me in." The moment I read those words, the lights flickered and then blazed to life. The fan above me started spinning. The familiar hum of the house returned. For a moment, a wave of relief washed over me. It was just a power outage, a weird dream, a hallucination brought on by fear. It was over. But then I saw the shadow on my wall. It stretched long and distorted in the sudden light. It wasn't mine. My shadow was there, small and huddled against the door. This one was tall, impossibly thin, looming over me from the center of the room. It raised its hand, a slow, deliberate motion. Instinctively, my own hand went up to shield myself. But I was a second too late. Then I heard the voice again. Not from the hallway, not from the phone. It was right behind me, a cold whisper that felt like it was inside my own head. "You should have stayed in the dark." The screen of my phone, still clutched in my hand, suddenly cracked from corner to corner, the light flickering out, and then, just like before, everything went silent. The knocking never happened again. I never heard it from the walls or the ceiling. I suppose that's because I was the one trapped inside now. The one listening from the other side, waiting in the darkness for someone else to answer. So if you ever hear a knock in the middle of the night, just remember my story. And for your own sake, don't answer. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales from the dark. Stay safe out there.